Yep. And we're back. Thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of We Think It's a Sports Show. I'm your host, Mike D. And as always, we got a great show for you today. So without further ado, let me introduce the guys. First up, we got my big cuz, who get 'em, Mills get 'em. My A1 since day 2, Rad, and my point guard, Preach. All right, fellas, man, it's been a week. I haven't really talked to y'all much. Yo, Rad, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Overall good weekend. No ups, no downs. Just kind of started back work, had a little vacation and other things, but started back work. But all in all, it's been good. No complaints, man.
I love it. How about you, Preach?
It was pretty good. Um, I pretty much relaxed. Matter of fact, the other day I was able to get to the park and I got a few shots up, and I just want to let the public know I still got it. If y'all was ever wondering, but it's been good though. It's been good.
Did you hit your signature mellow pull up
Absolutely. About three of them to be exact.
from where from 30 or 40 like Bow Weezy?
I was shooting about 1-2 steps in from half. I will say, I was shooting about 1-2 steps.
What park was this?
That's
I
your
was at
problem now.
I was
That was
at
your problem in high
Cheektowaga
school.
Town. It wasn't.
That was
I
your
was at
problem.
Cheektowaga. I was at Cheektowaga Town Park, and I just want to let the public know I still got it.
You said that was your problem in high school. Rad, thank you. I didn't say it, everybody. I was rad. All right, big cuz Millie, how was your weekend, bro?
Weekend was great. Me and the wife celebrated our 1 year anniversary on Sunday.
Love
Today
it.
is actually
Congrats.
today is actually our 8 years together.
Wow,
Today,
8 years.
8 years, man. Yeah. So we were supposed to go on vacation this week, but due to the quarantine and everything like that,
That
a lot of
Roni.
locations we couldn't get to, so we pretty much stayed home. So on Sunday we just went on a nice little hike. One thing we decided to start doing is be a little more adventurous and getting out there exercising. We go to a lot of locations and we test it out first, and then we go back and invite other people, other couples and stuff like that to be a part of it with us. Previously we did Chestnut Ridge, Eternal Flame. So Sunday we went to the, what was it called? A Devil's Hole. So we checked it out, got our little test run in. We actually invited a couple friends to go with us tomorrow. So we'll see how that go.
I would just
Alright,
like to say, I would just like to say I've never been invited, and I don't know if I feel away or not, but I would just throw that out there for the people.
I would like to say, Bills, that better be like how you gonna be talking this whole show. You was long-winded answer right there, bro. I'm proud of you right there. I'm like, oh, Mills getting in right now. All right. That's a sneak preview of what's more to come. That's what's up.
I gotta ask you about the wife more often.
he ready to
What
lock
I'm
and load it,
talking
man.
about.
Let's go.
No, but seriously, Mills, that's beautiful. Us three, we were honored to be the best men, best I guess we were the best three men in your wedding last year. So to all the viewers that maybe dating, engaged, just got married, give us a little advice about year one marriage, how to survive it.
Uh,
Survive it.
Definitely.
That sounds bad.
I,
Mike. How to survive
yo, listen. Being, I don't know, maybe it's just men that are engineers, but growing through my whole time working, everybody was like, "You married yet? Nope. Don't get married." They all say, "Don't get married." I don't know what it is about it, but they make it sound like it's terrible. But yeah, I didn't mean to make it sound like they're surviving, like you battling for your life.
That's what it sounds like. But I'm sorry, Mills. You
I mean, I
can
think a lot of people take that approach though. Let you know, hey, it might be a bad decision. I think it's more so just to make sure that you're definitely ready to commit and be ready for that
Thank
that
you,
long
Mills.
journey together. So, but I mean, our first year, I mean, it wasn't bad. We started living together. That's probably the biggest struggle. If you were dating and then you got married and you just start living with each other after you got married, you're into for a total different experience. But we lived together prior for a couple years, so everything inside the house we were already knowledgeable of, like how I would leave a room or how I would leave a bathroom or would I take out the garbage every week, stuff like that. So we were already.
You better.
We already,
Would I?
we,
Would I? Oh, that's garbage.
so we already had that. We already had that side already, set in stone. So we knew how, living arrangements and stuff would be like that. I mean, did we have our problems? Yeah, like every couple does. We had our ups and our downs. But, I mean, we have a very, very strong foundation. I'm faithfully in the church and like that. So we put God as the center of our marriage. So as long as we have him, in the center of our marriage and we communicate as much as we can, I mean, problems are going to happen each and every day. But one thing that I learned from my counseling session with my pastor is whatever problems you have, stay inside the house. Don't let those problems get out your house. The community and other people don't need to know the problems that you and your wife or your significant other are going through. So that was probably a very powerful message that, we kept instilled in us, and we keep, we let other people know that as well. So the best advice I can give you is communicate. Whatever problems you have, fix those inside the house. And one thing that he did tell me that I think about every night is when we having an argument.
Every night you have an argument?
No. If we was to have one.
Oh, okay.
If we was to have an argument, that I shouldn't separate myself to go sleep on the couch. Work those problems out before we go to sleep. Never go to sleep mad at one another. So if I can give anybody any advice is never go to sleep mad at your significant other.
You have any advice on entanglements? You got any experience there, bro? Or are you?
I have no experience in that area.
Oh, that was a short-winded answer right there, Mills. That was real good.
No experience. But the crazy thing is, I'll save that for later.
Nah.
Just say no and move on, bro. There's nothing to be said about entanglements, bro.
Well, it's nothing to do with our relationship. It's
okay.
Yeah. I'll save that for later.
All right. Well, hopefully later is coming soon because we hopping right in on it on Will and Jada. Because I want to start there because last week we had this as a topic. And I was like, no, let's hold off. Jada says she's going to bring herself to the red table. And I don't want this show to be a show that's about being first. I want us to be right. So I'm like, let's wait. Let's wait to Jada's side and let's hear what she's saying. And I think we should have talked about it last week because she made it way worse than what it already was, to be honest. I was scared that if we talked about it last week, Tuesday, people was already done with it. But now Entanglements and Webster didn't put it on the front page. So
Webster Dictionary?
Nah, I'm just playing, but probably. But that's where I want to start. And I don't even really want to ask a question. I just want y'all to go. Like, preach. Just tell me what do you think about everything? Just tell me what you think.
I guess my first reaction to it all it's kind of crazy. I will say this information was already in the rumor mill, as some people would say. Like, it's not necessarily new information. It's kind of old, so to speak, relatively. And we knew, I won't say knew, but we caught wind that Jada Pickett and August Alsina had something going on, right? That there was something more than her, being there for him. And as far as August Alsina is concerned, I think for him, throughout the whole situation, I think he was genuinely hurt by what happened, and he kind of used this opportunity to really get a spotlight. Nothing more, nothing less, because he could have came out and talked about this years ago. You know what I mean? But I think he used this opportunity to sort of sell records, which is fine. That's what he wants to do. But for me personally, it was kind of distasteful, airing, dirty laundry about something that was private, about another woman, another relationship. But that's neither here nor there. Men do that all the time. Sometimes they just get messy. As far as the red table talk, let me start off. Mills said something. Communication is key. And I do appreciate Will and Jada coming to the table. And for that 15 minutes, talking about something that was very private in their life. But I'm gonna be honest, I was speechless, man. Like, and those who know me, if you watch this podcast, that doesn't happen very often. But I was legit speechless. Like, I'm just looking at Jada, like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, seriously, what? Like, what are you talking about? And for you to say this in front of Will Smith, your husband or partner for life, whatever you want to call him, and we know we've seen the memes of Will Smith, his face and all that, but like that was a real reaction. It's like, yo, you're bugging right now. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna pass it to either Mills or Rad because I don't want to be disrespectful at all. I don't want to say anything to get this podcast kind of put in a different light because I'm gonna be honest, August Alsina is donezo. I don't think we'll ever hear another album, another riff, another anything. Like he's donezo. He messed with black royalty. You might as well put him over here.
It's room for love and hip hop. There's always room there.
I doubt it. He might be on couples therapy by himself. He's not gonna be with nobody. but I like I said, I'm gonna stay away from this for now. I want to hear what everybody else have to say because this took me for a loop.
Well, Rad, let's go to you.
All right. First off, I'm gonna start with love. Will Smith, is a short. I'm not real big on like being a fan of people and stuff like that, but it's two people that I truly wanted to meet and talk to on some one-on-one man stuff before, like on some celebrity stuff. Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, and Will Smith was on that list. You know what I mean? When my first storyboard, my first vision board, I had a Will Smith quote on it. You know what I mean? The treadmill quote, like, no, I would die on the treadmill. Nobody would be, you know what I mean? That quote. So I'm a real big fan.
Rad, I don't know what quote that is. Look that up, bro.
The quote is something like somebody can be more talented than me, better at me at singing. But if we on a treadmill, nobody will outdo me on the treadmill. I'm willing to die before somebody outwork me on the treadmill. It's an awesome quote. Will Smith. I'm a big fan of Will Smith. So I'm not gonna disrespect Will or nobody like that. So I'm gonna start with love with that part. I'm gonna start with saying that the fact that Will and Jada came to the red table talk when they didn't have to, they big enough and wealthy enough to literally not care about nothing that's going on. I believe. But they did, and they came. Now, when I was watching Jada talk about entanglement and how she just wanted to feel good again and all that stuff. I'm watching it, and I'm watching it with my girl Sean, and I'm like, she gonna get killed. I said she gonna get killed because for one, I didn't really hear her take any accountability. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it wasn't no accountability. It wasn't I'm sorry. It was clearly just like this what happened, and
it is what it is.
It is what it is. He tripping. You know what I mean? Not he tripping, but it was like, they didn't really. They talked about it, but they didn't say nothing. You know what I mean? So I thought she should have took more accountability. He is hurt. She kind of did use him. In some circles, I don't truly believe it. They said it's almost predatory because he was sick. He came to him sick, and she came for him from help. And it end up being that, and then you end up leaving, like squashing it and moving on from it, and he ended up hurt, and he was already in a bad mental space and sick. So I heard that, but I'm not gonna go that far. I think it's more so of somebody just fell in love with they crush or somebody they really liked, and they like who like to think that you can be with somebody that you probably grew up idolizing, like Jada Pinkett Smith. Like I'm sure everybody will fall in love with that. That's just a crazy thing to think of.
With the predatory thing, let me push back on that just a little bit, real quick, Mills. Because I believe if the roles was reversed, and if it was I don't know how old Jada Pinkett Smith is, but however old she is, dealing with somebody that's what 15 20 years, 20 years younger than her. If that was a male doing that to a female, I think it would be considered predatory.
Yeah, right. It's a double.
But what I'm saying is that's the narrative that we give off. If somebody is necessarily 40, this is no disrespect to anybody that has somebody that's 20 years younger than them. But if somebody is 40 and they're dealing with a 20-year-old girl, we look at that as that's something not right about that. You know what I'm saying? Like she's going through something, or she has quote unquote daddy issues, or whatever the case might be, and we consider that predatory. And honestly, I think it was definitely predatory on Jada Pinkett. She even said it. She said specifically she And I don't know if that was from
No,
Will
no,
or
yeah. I
she
heard she
didn't.
said
She
it.
wasn't feeling like she was, who she was, or whatever the case might be. And she used August Alsina to feel that way. She used him.
But before Mills go, I don't want to, because it's kind of like a somewhat of a tangent. But the reason is it is a double standard, and double standards exist. And I'm not, I don't know if they ever will get away from double standards. So it is a double standard, but it is a difference between, a male, a 40-year-old, and a 20-year-old girl. You know what I mean? Because it's just a difference. Because physical strength and other things that comes into play, it's a difference. Now, I'm not saying it's not at the border, at the baseline predatory, but it is a different level that could potentially go to if the roles was reversed and it was a man being Jada.
I would say that it's worse, right? Because
Worse? Think so?
yeah, only because men or boys, they don't mature as fast as women do. So a 20-year-old, I'm not sure about the
He's like 23, 24, something like that.
yeah, 23, 24 maybe, but like 20 years old, a 20-year-old girl versus a 20-year-old boy, that 20-year-old girl is usually a little bit more mature. So a 20-year-old boy with a 40-year-old woman, mentally, I think is worse. But like I said, physically,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't
It's a
think
lot more to think of being like forced into do something if it was a man compared to a woman. You like Jada Pinkett didn't force August to do it. You know what I mean? Like maybe I don't know.
That's not fair.
Physically
That's not
forced. I'm
fair.
talking about physically.
Yeah,
forced.
Okay,
I'm talking about
okay,
physically.
yes. She did not physically force him. It was a consensual relationship. But Jada Pinkett is 48 years old, and like they said, she said it. Will said it. August Alsina mentally, and if you're familiar with August Alsina, you understand the context of what was going on at that period in his life. He had a lot of things, a lot of issues going on in his life, and he probably still do to this day. He confided in them as a whole, and especially Jada. She took advantage of him, like it, and
She did. I'm not.
I don't necessarily know her intentions because intentions kind of deal with the predatory behavior. But at the end of the day, it could be viewed. That's predatory to me.
I do want to say this though, because we do hold up Hugh Hefner in his light, and he
Absolutely.
is like the king of that. Like, he was
Predatory.
80 years old, and he was like 20. So like you said, it is different because I don't know if a woman will ever be held in that light. If it was a woman, Hugh Hefner, and she had 100 play men or play rabbits, whatever they would be, I don't think it would be the same. So we look at Jada this way. But if we did this with Zendaya, how you think it would have been taken?
It's a double standard, but it's on some level. I understand the double standard. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I do too.
You go, Mills. Sorry.
Go ahead, Mills.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because y'all pretty much hit every nail with all the hammers we had. So I'm gonna keep it short and sweet.
I got some more names.
It was one thing that I did not appreciate with the red table talk, and I'm going to bring that out. It happened towards the end, a little after the middle, but it was one quote that they said that I really believe that you speak things into existence. And one thing that they stated together was, we ride together, we die together, bad marriage for life.
That was awful.
That was wild.
So if that's what you're going to stand on, I mean, your marriage is going to fall apart regardless. And growing up as a child, a lot of us, when you get into a relationship with other people, one thing you look into is other successful Black marriages, other successful people that have been together for a long time, and you use them as as something to motivate you to keep on pushing. And Will and Jada, if I'm not mistaken, they were married for about 24 years, 23 years. And she brought up at the table talk that about 4 years prior, they were going through their problems and situations, and they decided to take a break from one another. And while they took that break, that's when the situation occurred with August. One thing that I did want to say is August is a very disrespectful guy. Reason being, he was going through the things that he was going through. He got invited, into their lives. They were trying to nurture him, take care of him, get him back in stable condition so he can continue pressing on in whatever direction he was going in. And then everything pretty much turned upside down. Jada said that she didn't feel love. She wasn't herself. She ended up, having relations Well, I'm sorry.
Entanglement, bro.
Entanglements.
Thank you.
Entanglements. Speaking of entanglements, every time I hear that word, I keep seeing the song and the video playing in the background. Entanglements with August. Entanglements.
I see.
Yeah, every time I hear it.
It's the remix.
The remix. It just hit me. I just think of it every time. They actually played that on the radio today too. But that's besides the fact.
bring back Wire. What is going on? What?
Bro, I don't even listen to 937 no more, bro. That's a fact.
Let me say this. While I do agree with a lot of the sentiments that Mills said, but the only thing is when you said that August Alsina was disrespectful, that's why I believe that it was predatory behavior, because I don't necessarily think that this was August Alsina's fault. First of all, he was in over his head. And what I mean by that is it's Will and Jada. I mean, they're like literally black royalty. They're power couple. And I believe that he honestly was seeking help. Whether he had a crush on Jada Pinkett Smith is neither here nor there. I don't think that was necessarily showed in the onset of their relationship. I think it was strictly platonic, and they were helping him, and he was receiving that help. From whatever their situation, their marriage deteriorated, things got crazy, and their relationship turned into something else. I don't want to necessarily blame August Alsina for that. I think, now granted, it was two consenting adults, but I think that Jada Pinkett Smith, she made that decision. And you saw those feelings between her and Will play out in those 15 minutes. Whether they talked about it and had as much therapy as they wanted, you saw Will was like, man, that was whack. You can say whatever you want to say. That whole situation is whack, and I still think it was whack. I still love you, and we still rocking and we moving forward, but that situation was whack. And you was right at the onset. She did not hold herself accountable. I mean, she even said that this relationship was so rocky and yada yada yada. Yeah. And I give myself permission to have another relationship with another man. Man, Jada Pinkett says you can miss me about it.
No, seriously. On the disrespectful part, I don't believe August was disrespectful in the beginning of that. I think he was in the, I don't want to say right place at the right time, but
in a bad position.
Well, it might for him, it might have been good. Like if he really, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that, but the disrespectful part was now him using this as a rollout for his album was corny.
It was tacky,
bro. Like, bro, what you doing, bro? Like, come on, like, what
there's no room for living your truth.
No, bro. But do y'all know? Did anyone of y'all listen to August album?
No.
Nobody, like, bro, like, that's my point. He used this because he dropped the album. Like, nobody even, bro, like, come on, bro, what you doing, bro?
I think
it was a terrible interview, too.
Oh, my God.
It was
terrible. Yo, they was playing, like, meditation music in the background.
It was a terrible interview, bro. And it was a rollout for music that nobody probably listened to, bro.
It sounded like he got a documentary, too, or something, right? Or something? I don't know. It was a terrible.
But I understand living in your truth, but it was like, bro, I don't know. It was corny. It was just corny to me. But he is young. Maybe, I don't know.
I also think body language is very, very important, especially when you're speaking to somebody. And Jada's body language is just terrible. Like, she was sitting slouched. She had her legs crossed in the chair, feet not even on the ground. Like, she just, I
want to push back on that, though, Mills. Like, they decided to go and record for millions of people that they didn't have to. Well, they didn't have to, but I couldn't imagine. I get nervous for this. So I can imagine. I know, like, Jada.
Bro, she's not nervous. She's an actor, bro.
Come on, bro. Kobe Bryant got nervous before games, bro. Like, people get nervous.
Whether she was nervous or not, she was talking like everything was all good. And it was not.
Body language only. What I'm saying. Body language.
Let me say this. From their point of view, this was settled supposedly, right? Like, they had counseling, but like to be honest, what Mill said, if you look at Will's body language, man, it wasn't settled.
He was mad too, no.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? An entanglement? Really?
Before we drag it on to him, but this is the vibe I got. I got the vibe from where when it was happening, he probably told her, "Yo, you bugging. Like, this is not what's the end goal of what you're doing with him? Because it's not gonna end good. Y'all gonna break? What you gonna marry him or something? No, you're not gonna do none of that. So I felt like he probably told her what you're doing is stupid. You shouldn't do that, and she ended up doing it anyway. Now we here and doing this red table talking. The whole world know, and now we looking crazy. You know what I mean? So that's what it looked like to me.
Well, because Will said, from my understanding, when he came to us, he needed help. So that Will was like, I thought we was just helping him, but apparently you was helping yourself.
Yeah.
Now, one question. August said he sat down with Will and had his blessing. Do y'all? They said they deny it, but do y'all believe August on that? Because do y'all believe he got that blessing?
Of course.
Why would he lie about that? Though? Why would he lie about that?
Okay, let me say this. Will Smith did not sit down and say, August, you can be with my wife. He did not say that. But I think what August was really saying was, I am around this woman all the time.
Will didn't say nothing.
And we have this close relationship, and Will did not say anything. So silence is I mean, like, I guess, I don't want to use the word normal, but I guess normal people, like, if you see, and Mills is the only one married, but you know what I mean? We all deal with people. So, like, in that sense, if you see another man around your significant other all the time, taking pictures, and she rubbing his nipple on the red carpet and all this extra mess, a normal person would say absolutely not. And this is a kid-friendly podcast. Let me say that. But you can imagine the other words that would be said. Mike, can we just move on? I'm really getting upset.
Hold on. I have one more thing to say. Will, Jada, if you guys need prayer or something, just hit us up. Because from the looks of it, y'all marriage is not going to last at all. I'm just being completely honest.
Bro.
No,
the reason being, listen, Will said at the end of the thing, I'm going to get you back. Those exact words. And you already did already. He said, no, I'm really going to get you back.
Joking.
And if that's how they're going to continue whatever relationship they have, it shouldn't be a relationship. But if you need me, I'm here, Will. Hit me up.
They be open. 825 strong.
And they open I mean,
that's what it is. It's an open relationship, and I think that's a larger conversation, and we're not going to talk about it right now. That's another topic, but that we need to delve into that too.
I would say that I didn't like how people made fun of Will, that he was emotional, because like, it's his wife. Like, why wouldn't he be emotional? But some of the memes were hilarious, though.
It was.
It's gonna be emotional because when you having it, you getting back into those thoughts, what was going on. Yeah. So you gonna be like, man, this. But you know, obviously, but yeah, you gotta get these jokes. You gotta get these jokes.
Will saying like, yo, this dude was 25 and unstable. What are you doing, Jada? Like, seriously, what were you doing? What did you get out of that situation? And that's another story for another day. Could you go on, Mike? Because I'm telling you, man.
All right.
We think it's sports, but sometimes we don't know. We asking everybody to just tune into our show.